although I and Arjun were not from pharma background, nor did we have any idea about the pharma industry.
Right.
But we knew one thing very well. After failing multiple times, build what the customer wants. The community is very active, and I think it's just a matter of time, I would say, when it moves into tier 2, tier 3 and it starts. Because when you're in a middle class family, everything is accounted for. Never give up. If you have a dream, go after it. Explain it in the right way. And I think a lot of problems go away with clear communication. Listen to what your heart has to say more than your mind.
Hello viewers, welcome back to the latest episode on GIBS IRE Talks podcast powered by GIBS Business School, a place where innovation meets inspiration. This is Professor Guru Prasad, the host for today. Well, talking about your country's volume in terms of the population, 140 crore massive population requires to have a sophisticated healthcare industry. And I'm so proud to say that India has developed one over the last few years, a very strong healthcare industry. And today to talk upon AI is creating its own wave. So talk and deliberate on the same topic. I have some very interesting with me who is a co-founder of Pharmallama and a founder of Openare AI, Mr. Achintya Dayal, for this podcast. On behalf of all my viewers, I extend a heartfelt welcome to you. Welcome to the show, Achintya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Same here. Before I get into the subject matter, I would definitely love to know something on your past, your early days, maybe school days and college days. Well, I would definitely take a moment to tell you all that Achintya was my student.
Yes.
Way back in 2011 in my previous institute where I worked. And there cannot be any great happiness than seeing your own student grow to this extent. I'm so happy and proud. God bless you, man.
Glad, sir.
Yes, take us through this. Because what I generally feel, while I've done numerous podcasts, what the education and background the student has, there's nowhere related to what kind of entrepreneurial setup they had set. So is that the same story with you?
Pretty much same, sir. So I come from a middle class background. My father was a government servant. Mother was a PhD scholar in Sanskrit and a teacher. Brother was an engineer. So I was typically forced into going into engineering while I did not want to do that.
Okay.
And after 2 years, I realized this is not my cup of tea.
Okay.
So I quit my engineering, went to do my BBM from Manipal, completed my BBM from Manipal, and wanted to get into business for some reason which even I did not know exactly why. But I was very sure that I did not want to do a job. So I was very confident of that. And but I didn't know where I would head towards, what I would do. So that was the mindset I was in back then.
That's great. Considering this academic stature of yours, was the support really great from the parents? Like, at least you should have a strong foundation, which you probably felt academically you didn't have a great foundation though.
True.
But parents were supportive when you said that I want to start my own journey?
Yes. I think on contrary to what the belief system is in India, that, parents are not open to this. I would just say that to those people that, explain it in the right way. And I think a lot of problems go away with clear communication. So just tell them what you feel, honestly. Right. And sometimes that's what helps. My parents were really supportive, though they did not understand what I was doing. And they were very clear about it that, in the entire family tree, there was no one who had ever done business in my family.
Okay.
So I was the only odd one out, and I was made aware.
The decision was not so easy for them as well.
No, it wasn't, because
you have an elder brother, if I'm
I
right.
have an elder brother who was an engineer working in the US. So he was very successful. He was working. He is from NIT Surat, NIT Allahabad, and so it was against all the typical beliefs of what my parents had witnessed. I was very new and fresh to them that, I want to do this. This is the way I'm going to go. But I'm glad they supported me. I'm glad, I was able to kind of convey this to them and they understood it.
That's great. That's very great. Though you said engineering was an accident,
Yeah.
but your entrepreneurial journey was a choice.
Yes.
Take me through that. What made you to have this mindset well before?
Right. So, like I said, I think it goes back to me being from a middle class family, aspiring to get into the wealthy class, right? Because when you're in a middle class family, everything is accounted for, right?
Yeah, very right.
It is so true, even as kids. And I think we should thank our parents somewhere, because somewhere we don't understand what issues they have gone through, and they are providing you with what you have today. You should always be grateful. I wasn't grateful, but now I am. And I understand that, and I accepted my mistake, and I've apologized to my parents also about it. That, I wasn't grateful back then, but I'm very grateful for now what they have provided. And I think the entire aspiration of getting to that wealthy class came from not from a picture of I did not have enough. It came from a picture of I want to do something which will have an impact in my life, rather than just doing things for the sake of it.
That thought was very serious in your mind.
It was very serious. It was very serious. And I think I pursued it even till today. I'm just working on that pretty much the same thought, that if I want to go, there has to be some sort of an impact which you leave behind. Right?
And your parents are super proud of you now.
I hope so. I really hope so. But yeah, I mean, on a serious note, they are. They are. I can see that, and it's good to see that.
Absolutely. Take me through your entrepreneurial journey. Where did you start? How did you start? Where is it landed up now?
Right. So it started back in 2014. So most of my friends, mine and Arjun's friends, we both were best friends, and we had a small group of circle, and like all of them went off to US. So Arjun was like, okay, I don't want to go this year. I'll probably go next year.
Okay.
So he was taking a year's break. And honestly, I did not know what to do. So I was just hell-bent on that I'm not going to go join the job, but I'll figure out what has to be done. Yeah. So I asked my dad for a time frame of 3 months. In the 3 months, I went to Arjun first, went to convince him that, let's start something. Because that time entrepreneurship was taking off. We could hear.
Which year is this?
This was in 2014.
Okay, so we are out of that global recession of 2009 and all that.
Yeah, and the Flipkarts and the Flipkarts of the world.
Yeah, that was it.
They were at the peak.
Right.
So the inspiration was there. I think the execution happened in 2014. We started out with a small travel company. Further moved it up to becoming one of the tech platforms for enabling accommodation owners to list their travel this thing. Then came COVID in 2019. So we did that for typically 5 years.
Okay.
We ran a travel company for 5 years.
Okay.
In 2019, we were planning to raise a round from Oyo's first investor, Mr. Apurva Sharma.
Okay.
So we got the term sheet from him. We were very excited because we were like, okay, after 10 years of failing and not seeing much of success, this meant a lot. And then came COVID in the same week.
Hit the travel tourism sector
so
very badly.
The entire hard work of what we had put in to where we were in 2019, it just got wiped out in a week's time.
Absolutely.
And that's when I kind of decided I was kind of helping my parents out with putting the medication into small plastic sachets, because I used to go to meet Arjun, and my mom and dad were old, and the problem of seeing, the problem of understanding similar looking medicines. So these were challenges which I was aware that these are challenges. I didn't want them to take the wrong medication at the wrong time, because it can be really fatal.
Right.
And I understood that, but my parents did not. So I used to put it in these small Ziploc pouches, and you get these kids label what they put on textbook,
Right.
right? So I used to take that, stick it on that thing, write the name, number, time, and I used to tell my mom that, see, here 3 packets are kept.
Yes.
Time is
Morning,
written. You just see
afternoon,
time.
and yes.
Don't see anything else. So that made it simple for her. And I think in one of my neighbors, so I was staying in a Navy colony where there were a lot of old people. And one of the neighbors saw it, and she asked me if I could do it for her also. And I was like, I just took it as a hobby. So we did it for like 10, 15 houses until we realized that, this is what the customer wants.
So that's the result of Pharmallama?
No, that was the result of us putting the medicines into the sachets, keeping it for our parents, and realizing that this can be scaled.
Okay.
Because other people started wanting it.
Okay.
They weren't happy with how they were getting medicines in your
Correct.
regular this thing, because again they have to set, cut,
Yes.
distribute, and all of that. So although I and Arjun were not from pharma background, nor did we have any idea about the pharma
Absolutely.
industry,
Right.
but we knew one thing very well: after failing multiple times, build what the customer wants.
Absolutely.
So we were like, customer wants this, because we started getting unimaginable requests from the colony itself.
Is it?
Yeah. So we were catering to roughly about 400 houses,
Wow.
delivering medication to them. So
That's a great start, yeah.
even before Zepto came,
You were already doing it.
15 minutes we were delivering medicines.
Wow.
We used to go buy it from the shop and go to their house, cut it, put in this thing, right? Go off.
I mean, what ended up as a small activity to your mother, end of the day became such a nice venture.
Yes. So again, we realized that the customer wants the solution. And I think
And getting into a pharma industry at that point of time, when the whole pharma industry was in a big question mark due to the ongoing pandemic, was it the right choice you felt?
hindsight, I would say yes. So sometimes you have to ride the trend. This is what we have also understood. It's if you're building a venture-backed business, especially, is very different from building a lifestyle business.
Correct.
So if you're building a venture-backed business, you have to play on the current trend lines. And for us, the trend was very clear. Pharma was the trend line. We were in a hotspot because of COVID.
Correct.
There was shortage of medicines. There was shortage. The entire ecosystem had collapsed. So they were inventing new rules in order to kind of cater to something which hasn't been done before. So we thought this is our way to kind of get into that system and establish ourselves there. Wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but in hindsight, it was the right decision we took.
So how is Pharmallama doing now?
It's good. I think the company got acquired by ACG, our majority investors. They took it over in about 2023,
Okay.
mid. And I and Arjun, we kind of moved out. We spent about a year in tranquility after getting some success. I wouldn't say too much, but post that, I kind of joined as a vice president of engineer in LifeBridge Care. So they are funded by Manipal Hospital.
Okay.
They're the largest geriatric care facility in India. So they have multiple old facilities, old age homes, assisted living facilities. They are the bridge between a hospital and a home.
Okay.
So I worked with them for almost a year, and then decided that once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So decided to kind of move ahead and build OpenAreAI. Again, I kind of found a
Here's a question here. You are from the BBA background.
yes.
Got into pharma, got into technology and AI, which is nowhere related to what you studied.
Yeah.
What challenges you faced? How did you tackle that?
A lot. To be honest, I learned how to code only because it was one of the hindrances in building a product. We always wanted to build a tech product, and we always kept outsourcing it, right? And that it got to us somewhere that we were like, okay, boss, like if we are spending X amount of money and time and giving someone else to do the job, can we take half of the time, put in maximum of our effort, and figure out can we do it ourselves in a much faster way? Because we know our problems very well. So we kind of went back to the engineering mindset that, you know what, let's
But
apply.
you had a friend of yours, maybe he was already into tech and quite tech savvy there.
So Arjun was into tech, but he didn't want to code. None of us wanted to code.
Okay.
We knew technology, we knew how it functions, but we just didn't want to code. I think laziness plus the option to pay someone else to do it
Yeah.
was always the first choice.
Right.
But in the hindsight, I would say that was a wrong decision.
If you ended up cracking the code.
Yeah. If you're building a tech product, it is a must for a person to know how to make the tech product work.
So what is this OpenCare AI talks about? What does it cater to?
So OpenCare AI is a patient intake voice assistant tool.
Okay.
It is trained on clinical reasoning.
Tell
Now,
me more about it.
So when you go to a doctor, you book an appointment over the phone.
Okay.
Now, what happens on the doctor side is, doctor basically has these multiple appointments. When you go to the doctor, you'll ask him, "Hey, how are you doing?" The doctor will ask you, "Hey, how are you doing? What problems are you facing?" He will ask you a bunch of clinical questions,
Right.
which actually can be preconceived and can save him time, effort, energy, and can help him diagnose you better.
Correct.
The reason being is, rather than him questioning you, someone has already questioned the clinical side of things and given him an update.
Correct.
So what we are building currently is a patient intake tool. So you're a clinic, you're a doctor. You can log on to this. The assistant will talk to your patient, take the information,
Okay.
and it has the capability to reason, clinically reason. So say, for example, if you say you have a fracture in your leg, so the next thing it will ask you, okay, are there any other hairline scratches near your leg region or any other region? Is there, have you faced any other fractures before? Was the bone broken before? So the line of questioning, what a doctor is able to perform, we are now able to do it using AI. And it took us roughly about 1 year for us to build this out.
Is it?
Yeah, because the evaluation of clinical data set is very, very critical. We cannot just deploy an application in healthcare which works only half-heartedly. You cannot do that. So it's kind of a tool where, like, it helps doctors to diagnose faster, and we give a complete analysis of what the call is about. They can hear to the call.
How was the acceptability of this back then? Were you able to convince easily?
Yes. So currently we have about 30 paying customers.
Okay.
And they all are in Bangalore.
These are hospitals or
no? These are small clinics. Yeah. So we realize that
hospitals may not need this.
They may, but I am not targeting them at the moment.
Okay.
I'm going after small, medium scale clinics and hospitals, not large scale hospitals.
Right.
So super specialties, guys who are aspirational, not the guys who are already established.
Okay.
So it makes a little more sense. Sorry. For us to kind of do that. So the reason why we chose SMB also was because there's no one focusing. Maximum healthcare is executed by small, medium scale clinics and hospitals in India.
I agree with you.
Unfortunately, it has been neglected the maximum.
Okay.
So my idea was to kind of help them equalize or come to an equilibrium where a patient is benefited end of the day.
True.
Right? In a very cheap, effective manner, and you're able to like get better health outcomes.
So what's the best feedback that you have received from your client?
So the best feedback was someone told me to kind of change the button from one place to another place in the entire software, and that made the maximum amount of difference.
Is it?
Yeah, and to be very honest, like, and that's why I was telling the students also that, you know what, listen to your customer, because end of the day, he's the king. He's going to make you also a king. You just have to put your ego aside and listen to him, right? So we did that. I did that for the last 6-7 years. I've only done that. Put my ego aside and just listen to what they have to say. I don't force solutions upon them. I just keep asking them the problems. They keep telling me the problems, and I go back home and then figure out a solution for it. Maximum people try and figure out a solution and then take the solution to the problem and then ask.
Exactly.
So that's a little. It can work, but this is a better approach.
And what's your expansion plans for OpenAI?
So we are currently kind of raising our seed round now, and the idea is to go global with this.
That's lovely.
Because I think why should we create an impact only in India, or why can't we think global, right? So we can, and why shouldn't we? So idea is to go global, Southeast Asia, countries like Sri Lanka, Bhutan, wherever there's income power parity, where there's a difference of income.
Some tier 2, tier 3 countries.
Yes, and wherever there's a healthcare issue, we will be there, and we will create that impact. That's the idea.
So the GIBS IRE podcast, we had a pleasure of hosting numerous Shark Tank fames, and I'm so happy to say Achintya is one among them.
Thank you.
Take me to your journey of you pitching the Shark Tanks, and those were the best sharks. I really consider them as a role model. I saw your the pitch.
Right.
How was your feel?
It was, to be honest, I think it was very surreal. It was unbelievable.
You look very well prepared. Zero nervousness. I don't know. You should say that.
Yes, I think the reason for that was because we knew the business in and out.
Absolutely.
There was nothing to mug up.
True.
We honestly told how I started. It was very honestly told the story about my mother. It was as it is, and so we just spoke the truth, and I think that hit a lot of people.
That works.
And that worked with all the sharks. They loved the pitch. They loved the idea, and it was quite an experience to have all 5 of them come up.
I know. I mean, that was incredible, yeah?
It was incredible.
That speaks about your clarity on the business.
Yeah.
Because they all believe in that clarity.
Right.
And if you have that clarity in the business, I think you can always get them. Where that has landed now? Has it gone to the next level?
So, no, I mean, post Shark Tank India, like we got acquired. So we got acquired, and our majority investor took over the company, and like I moved out. So kind of, but I'm still in touch with all of them.
Is it?
And that's the wonderful part of Shark Tank community. I think the founders, the judges, the community is very active, and I think it's just a matter of time, I would say, when it moves into tier 2, tier 3, and it starts. You start seeing the benefit of Shark Tank India on ground. So it's taken them 4 years, 4 seasons. I was on season 2, but I think now is the right time for them. I think the flower or the fruit will basically come out now.
You ever imagined you would one day land up in Shark Tank?
No, never. Never ever. It was actually the first time they called me. I thought it was that KBC kind of a fake call. आपको 2 crore रुपए मिल रहे हैं. So I was like, ठीक है sir. They're like, नहीं sir, we're calling from Shark Tank. I was like, ठीक है, कोई नहीं है. So I didn't take them. I thought it was a complete setup, and so they called my call center. They got my other co-founder Arjun's number. They called him up. They complained about me, and they're like, "Boss, he's not listening." And my co-founder then came and told me, "I think they're real. I think you should talk to them once." And then I spoke to them, and I was like, "Okay, fine. Okay, you are real now." So it was a great experience. I would say one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I think a good milestone to be there, and kind of a validation for my parents, because Indian parents like seeing their kids on TV, right? Like it's just a experience, like beta TV pe. So I think that's success to them, right?
Indeed, no doubt about it.
So I think that worked well for me, and I was lucky enough, and yeah.
As far as I know you are very crazy and you have a high level of energy. So I'm sure I had to ask this question. What next in the list for Achintya?
Uh, idea is to kind of, uh, uplift healthcare for 1 billion people. I'm very passionate about this because I've seen my mother suffer.
That's an excellent move.
And I think I'm going to go on that path. So even post OpenCare AI, I might not stop. I might do something else.
I know that.
So
That's the whole reason why I asked you this question.
so I right now my focus is on OpenCare
Something
AI.
always cooks in your mind.
Yes,
Something new.
That's there. But I want to bring it to. I want to see it work for the common man. If I can make an impact in a positive way, I'm more than happy.
Lovely, lovely. As I said, a lot of my student viewers are watching you.
Yeah.
And I got to know in today's interaction with the students, a lot of them were able to connect to you because of the kind of student's life you had back in Manipal. Take us through your entrepreneurial journey. What is that piece of advice you would give to my budding entrepreneurs?
Right. So I would just say one thing, guys, never give up. If you have a dream, go after it, chase it as much as you can. Listen to what your heart has to say more than your mind sometimes. And I wish you all the best. And I think it's a great institute. You guys have a great faculty. And it'll go a long way. Yep.
That's great. I think it's a perfect example how an entrepreneur's mindset should be. This is what generally we teach them in the classes. It's end of the day, not just the textbooks or the four walls of the classroom. It's the mindset that you develop.
True.
And today, if I say that if Achintya has reached this stage, it's because of his mindset. Right? So I want these lessons to be incorporated very seriously in all the viewers. And I want to see the next Achintya very soon in every one of them. On behalf of all my viewers, I thank Achintya for spending his time. It was indeed a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
I wish all success to you. My blessings in all your upcoming ventures, new ventures. We wish to stay connected with you.
Definitely, sir.
I'm sure my all viewers had great takeaways from today's interaction. Please don't forget to like us in all our social media platforms, GIBS IRE Talks Podcast, GIBS Business School. Also, my personal request to follow Achintya in the LinkedIn and all the social media pages to learn there. For now, this is Guru Prasad signing off. Thank you for watching.